She's just a regular girl who can transform herself, but when she does, she becomes the cotton candy princess. She's as sweet as candy but tough as a jawbreaker. She can defeat anyone who dare to challenge her with a simple wave from her candy cane wand. Colorful and cute, yet fierce and robust. A true force of sweetness that keeps the world a better place. So of course we're going to start off by priming our skin with the Hydro Touch Primer to add a little bit of moisture to our face and make sure all the products we put on top go on super smooth. And then we are going to go in with the pore filler just to kind of smooth out any areas where my pores are a little bit larger so the foundation goes on very nicely. And then we are starting off with the Mineral Stick Foundation, and we are going to apply this all over the face. I really like this foundation because it gives a good coverage while still looking very natural. And it's going to give our skin that flawless anime look. And so just take a brush and go ahead and blend that in. And just for a little bit of added coverage, I'm going to take this Stay Matte But Not Flat foundation, and I'm almost going to use this just as a concealer kind of underneath the eyes and any areas where I need a little bit more coverage. And then go ahead and take the HD loose setting powder and set all your makeup with this so it doesn't budge. And to start off our cotton candy contouring, we're going to take this Full Throttle shadow stick. I absolutely love these because they blend out so nicely, and this is the perfect cotton candy blue, so we're going to be taking this on the forehead, and then you can go ahead and grab a fluffy brush and just blend that out, and make sure you're going up into the hairline with that so there's no gap. And this is the perfect contour color for our cotton candy princess. And of course our princess needs some super defined cheekbones, so go ahead and place that on the cheekbone area and then grab that same brush and just blend that out. And then take the NYX Shadow in Poolside, which is the perfect cotton candy blue color to set this cream contouring. And going in with one of my all-time favorite NYX palettes, which is the Ultimate Brights palette, we're going to take that deeper blue shade and just darken up the contour just a little bit just to add some dimension. And then add some along the jawline too, just to give a little bit of definition there. And taking the NYX Primal color in Hot Pink, we're going to be adding some blush to our cheeks, and of course it's going to be a very bright cotton candy pink color. And in a lot of anime characters, they place their blush a little bit higher, so this is kind of going underneath the eye area there. And then make sure you kind of blend it into the cheek contour as well, so there's no harsh lines. And then I'm also adding this to the forehead as well, so we're getting that nice gradient from blue to pink. And just make sure you blend that into the blue really nicely. And then of course our princess needs some glow, so we're taking the NYX Strobe of Genius palette and taking the lavender shade on a small fluffy brush. Just apply this to all the high points of your face. And we want our nose to appear a little bit smaller, so take the Hot Pink Primal color and just begin to contour your nose with a fluffy brush. We don't want it to be too harsh though, just do it pretty softly, and then we're also going to add some to the bottom of the nose too. And moving on to the eyes, we're going to take this white eyeshadow base, which is going to help all the colors we put on top stick really well, and it's going to make them pop a little bit more. So we're taking the same shadow in Poolside, and we're going to apply this all over the lid, going up to the crease. And then make sure you blend that out really nicely. And then taking a smaller kind of pencil brush, we're going to take that blue we used from the Ultimate Brights palette and just focus that in the outer corner of the eye, just to give a little more dimension. And then of course we have to use the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk at some point in this tutorial. So we are going to take that underneath the eye on the waterline, and then also take that down kind of below the lashes, and this is going to give our eyes that big anime look. And then make sure you set that with a white shadow just so that doesn't go anywhere. And then to give the illusion of even bigger eyes, we are going to start to draw on our new lower lash line. So I'm just taking the NYX black gel liner on a small art brush, and just really take your time with this so the line is nice and crisp. And I'm kind of making the line thicker on the outer part of the eye and thinner as you go to the inner corner. And then just connect that to the top of the eye. And we are going to start to do a wing, and you can make this as big or as small as you want. Just really take your time so it's nice and crisp. And then we're just going to line our upper lash line. And then we're going to begin to kind of shade our new lower lash line. So I'm taking the NYX shadow in Poolside, and I'm just going to begin to lightly place that underneath the black line. And then make sure that's nice and blended out. And this is just going to help the illusion of having big anime eyes. And then go ahead and take the NYX Primal Color in Hot Black, which is the most pigmented black shadow ever, and just kind of smoke that out just a touch. And then of course we need some lashes. So these are just a pair of the NYX Sinful lashes, which I cut in half, and I'm just going to place that on the outer corners. And then just go ahead and apply some mascara to the upper lashes only. I will be applying false lashes a little bit later on. And then moving on to lips, start off by just placing some more foundation over them so we just conceal them a little bit. And then go ahead and take this NYX Gel Plush Lipstick in Azalea and just focus this on the inner part of the lips because we really want those kind of small anime looking lips. And then we're also going to add a touch of the NYX Liquid Suede Cream Lipstick in Pink Lust, but don't blend this out quite as far as we blended out the other lipstick because we really want those small kind of stained looking lips. Pro tip, make sure you don't have any on your teeth. So yeah, just take a little bit of that and then kind of just blend it out softly. And then moving on to eyebrows, if you do have eyebrows, unlike me, because I shave them off, you will want to start off by blocking your brows. But I don't have to do that step. So I'm just going in with the Full Throttle Shadow Stick in Electric Surface, and this is going to give us some nice blue cotton candy brows. So I'm just kind of starting off by outlining where I want the shape to be. And I do want to keep the brows fairly thin because most anime characters do have fairly thin looking eyebrows. And I forgot to tightline before, so I'm just doing that now with the NYX Jumbo Pencil in the Black Bean. And moving on to the cotton candy kind of cloud design, we are just going to be taking some white body paint, and we are just going to start to create some cloud shapes on both sides of the forehead. So yeah, I'm just using a thin art brush and I'm slowly kind of painting them on. It might be a good idea to kind of map out first where you want the clouds to be instead of just winging it, but that's what I did today and it ended up working out okay. So yeah, and then just take kind of a fluffier brush and blend out the bottom part of the cloud. And then add more body paint when needed. And then we're just slowly going to start to build more clouds around. So just take your time with this to make sure the lines between the clouds are very nice and defined. And just going ahead and adding a few clouds below the ones we already have. And then if you want to redefine the line in between the clouds, you can just go ahead and add a little bit of pink shadow in between there, so you can have that crisp line. And then just go ahead and go back in with your paint to really define that line. And then you can go ahead and layer the paint if you want it a little bit more opaque. But yeah, so basically just keep adding cloud shapes until you are satisfied. And then again, I'm redefining the line in between them with a little bit more of the pink primal color. And then go ahead and start painting the clouds on the other side of the forehead, and you totally don't have to worry about the clouds being symmetrical as long as they're painted in the same areas on the face. That's all I would really worry about. And then yeah, just keep adding the clouds until you are satisfied, and then just go over them a little bit with more body paint if you want them to be a little bit more opaque. And then make sure the cloud at the bottom is just blended out nice and softly. And then I also wanted to add some around where the cheek contour is. So I'm just slowly building up the paint until it is as white as I want it. And I'm just going in and adding clouds until I am happy with that. And then I'm going ahead and adding some glitter primer. And then I'm just going and adding glitter onto each one of the clouds. Because of course our cotton candy princess needs some sparkle. And then just go ahead and take a white paintbrush and more of that white body paint. Just go ahead and kind of splatter some on. I really love the texture that it gives, and it makes it look a little bit more sparkly. So I'm doing that over all the areas where we have the clouds. Just go ahead and add some little white dots around all the clouds. And then just for a little delicate touch, I'm just going to do some white lines coming down from the eyes. I usually do this in a lot of my looks just because I like the effect that it gives. You can totally skip this step if you would like. And then I'm going to place some more kind of chunky glitters all over the clouds. So I just put down some more glitter adhesive, and then I am just placing those on top. And then go ahead and apply some lashes. I chose to go for some ones that kind of really flare out at the ends, just to give our eyes that bigger anime look. And then on to the neck, we're going to take that same full throttle shadow stick and electric surface, and we're going to begin to place that on the top of the neck, and then take a brush and start to blend that out. And then take that darker kind of blue color from the Ultimate Brights palette, and we're just going to set that with this shadow. And then again, going in with the primal color in hot pink, we're going to place this just below the blue, so again we get that nice gradient from blue to pink. And then on the neck, we are going to be doing the exact same cotton candy looking clouds that we did on the face. So just go ahead and add those all over the area where we placed the blue and the pink shadows. And then once you're done with that, you can go ahead and splatter a little bit of white paint over top of those. And then you can add some chunky glitter to the clouds just like we did on the face. And then I'm placing a little bit of lash glue, and I am adhering some of these little pearls to the neck. I also added these onto the face as well, just in a few random areas on the clouds. And now our cotton candy princess is complete. So for my hair, of course, I wanted to do some space buns, so I spray painted some cotton stuffing pink and I pinned that to my head. So for this tutorial, I really wanted to create my own character who I would want to be if I was in my own anime. Something really fun, colorful, cute, and girly and magical. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, you can vote for me up to 3 times a day from June 17th to June 24th at NYXFaceAwards.com. I will have all that info in the description box below. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!